Hey guys, welcome back to the Nice Body series with me, Rob Richards, filmed for Muscle and Fitness. You may remember that a little over a year ago, I was here at the downtown Los Angeles Tap Out Gym to meet with Muay Thai world champion Kathy Long and have a look at some Muay Thai and kickboxing skills. Well, today I'm back to look at the many different disciplines and skill sets associated with mixed martial art training. And later on in my 3-part mini-series, I'll be showing you more of that skill set and widening them out, helping you build on explosive power, strength, and endurance. So let's head in and catch up with Kathy, find out what she's been up to over the past year. Kathy Long.
Hi.
How are you?
Long time no
Good to see you again. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yes.
What's been happening then in the past year?
Just doing a ton of working and teaching and a little bit of training.
Still keeping that training up and getting ready for your fight?
Yes, that's the theory.
Life. Well, I see you've expanded on the Tap Out Gym a little bit. You have a lot more weight, which I like.
Good.
I'm sure we're going to get down to talking more about the strength and conditioning.
Yes.
But when we spoke on the phone, you said you've got a couple of circuits set up that we'll be taking a look at. Fortunately, we're going to be putting me through the pounding ground this time, but we'll be taking a look at more of that speed, endurance, the agility, the power. So why don't we head over there and get started on what you've got set up for me.
Got it, let's do it.
Okay. This looks familiar.
Yeah, this is a grappling dummy. We call him Julio.
Okay.
Well, there's the other Julio, and now there's this Julio.
What's he doing down?
He's down because that is designed for teaching somebody how to do arm bars, or ground and pound, or move from mound position to side control.
Okay, so near as much real life situation than actually getting down with a training partner and grounding pounding.
Yes. If you don't have a training partner at home and you have a grappling dummy, or there's nobody here at the time you come in, then you can use it.
Very different from the gym that I'm used to.
Yeah.
Back there. So, okay, what are we looking at with the circuits?
Okay.
That you've set up for us?
I've set up a semi-upper body circuit here, and then a lower body circuit over here, and then a kind of a mix of both on the third one.
Okay, so at this point, we're still very much looking at what aspects? Strength, endurance, power, mix of them. How would you kind of best explain each of these circuits?
Okay. For example, this first one, you see this small jumping box? We're not going to jump on it. Instead, what we're going to do is use it as a platform to grab the pole and launch our legs up as high as we can do it, which works your abs.
Okay.
And it also teaches you how to get your legs up as high as you can to get the triangle on somebody if you're in there, if you know the position of the guard.
I think we touched upon that last time.
Okay. Well, if I'm laying down and you're sitting and my legs are wrapped around your waist, you are now in my guard.
Okay.
Now, from that position, if your job while you're in my guard is to posture up so that I don't pull your head down and get you into a choke.
That was quite nice last time you were putting me down in, but no, I get it. Okay.
God bless you.
Okay, I'll be staying away.
This exercise will teach you how to pull your legs and your entire upper body up and wrap around his arm and his head to get him into the choke.
So we're mimicking the same movement that we would replicate in the ring or within that cage.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's actually 10 times harder to do it this way than it is from laying down.
Because you've got to kind of train above that level that you would ideally fight with, right?
Yes.
Okay, I like that. What else have we got?
Okay, we've got the Physioball, where you place your upper back on it and you're going to be punching, okay, with anywhere from 4 to 15 pound weights. And the whole idea is to keep your back off perfectly level, as if you're in
that bridge.
Yes, keep that bridge. And that teaches you how to bridge up and punch while you're on the ground as well.
And again, with using that dumbbell, it's kind of extra weight than when we've got our pads or gloves on, so that we can kind of, it's still going to be hard, but if we train harder than what that fight might be, sort of at that level,
absolutely
where
correct.
we get that endurance and power up there. Okay.
And Julio, for this upper body station, I would have him for ground and pound.
Okay.
Where you would switch positions from the mount to the side guard for knees, elbows, punches, everything you want to do.
Again, working a variety of different areas whilst on the floor.
Yes.
Can you give us a quick demo? I know I'm not exactly dressed for it, but let's kind of see how they look.
Now, this one, the first one, is you grab the bar here and you got to swing your legs up for the guard, that triangle position, and then back down. Okay? The whole idea is the control that I had.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And when you say this is a circuit, what are we looking at in terms of reps or timed? You know, what do you look for within that kind of MMA conditioning?
What I do normally on a circuit is I'll have 1 minute of this exercise and immediately go to the next exercise where I put my back on the Physioball and I'm punching for 1 minute.
With no rest in between?
None. I sprint to the next station. And then from the ball, I will go right to Julio and do ground and pound.
With your kind of mentality, I mean, it's non-stop hell.
Yes.
From kind of the first minute all the way through to the final minute. And then I guess you get like 1 minute rest.
You get a 1 minute rest, but you know, not only is it a 5 minute hell, it's a 5 minute hell where they're punching and kicking you and trying to get you into a submission as well. It is a fight.
At least my barbell never tries to hit me back.
No, thank God.
That's I guess that's a real addition on the mindset. You know, when we're talking about training, I know with Michael Hearn, when we did the powerlifting focus, you know, we were talking about beast mode, and you really got to kind of flick that switch to get under 400-500 pounds of raw metal to squat down.
Yes.
But that's not quite the same as having someone trying to tear your arm off or punch you in the face. Tell me more about that, because I know you've been in the ring a few times.
Once or twice.
Once or twice, yes.
Well, I'll tell you, nothing will give you more of an adrenaline rush than stepping into the cage where they lock the door and there's nobody in the room with you, and you have to fight in order to survive that round.
And it's not even fight or flight. I mean, we're talking fight or
get
be
beat
fought.
up.
Yeah, get beat up.
Get beat up and potentially knocked out, and ultimately the worst that could happen to you is you die. Now, it's a risk everybody takes.
Ultimately, the worst is you could die, but you know, at the very least, you're going to get pounded a few times.
But Rob, look at it this way: you could die walking across the street.
Touche. That is true.
Okay, so in that respect, are you going to be fearful walking across the street, or are you going to prepare for it by looking both ways and making sure that no car is near you?
And I guess that comes down to adaptability, which we spoke about last time.
Yes.
You've really got to be aware of all of these different factors to be able to adapt quickly. If you're crossing the road because the light was green and yet a car's still coming, you're not going to carry on walking, you're going to adapt and change your path.
Exactly, yeah. Correct. Now, as far as having tools in your toolbox, you know, looking at it from a mechanic standpoint, if he wants to change the transmission in his car and all he has is a crescent wrench, he's going to have problems. So if you go into an MMA fight and all you know how to do is wrestling, and you don't punch well, you don't move well, you don't grapple well, you don't do any of those other things well, and you don't have the conditioning or the footwork, you're not going to accomplish your goal very well.
You really got to kind of broaden out that skill set and max out on each one.
Yes.
Okay, so we had a look at the guard crunch.
Yes.
Can you give me a demo just on the other two so we can really have a look at that technique and the form?
Absolutely.
Quite the battle.
What you do with the Physioball is it's on the ground. Okay.
Whoa, now Kathy, when you said dumbbells, I was envisioning like 40-pound, 50-pound dumbbells.
No.
We don't need to go that heavy then.
No, not necessary. 4 pounds because you're going to be doing this for a solid minute.
Okay.
I keep that bridge up here. Keep my upper back on the ball, upper back and neck, and punching. And I have to keep this steady. Okay.
Keep the hips long.
Keep
We're not shifting them or rotating. That's where a lot of that strength then, I guess, that focus and endurance, muscular endurance has to come from as well. It's not just the power of hitting, it's the power of keeping that core stabilized.
Absolutely.
What other kind of stabilization work do you do? Because I know when we looked at doing a lot, we were in the kind of on the mats before, doing a lot of those kicks and punches, and that was something altogether. But
there's many things you can do with the Physioball for stabilizing exercises.
So this is really a key tool.
It's a great tool.
MMA conditioning and training.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There are many different ways you can use this for upper body, lower body, abdominal work, everything. For example, if I wanted to do an upper body exercise with this, I would put my hands on either side of the Physioball and do push-ups. Okay. Now, talk about stabilizing muscles. Very
I haven't done that
difficult to do.
before. That really works the core hard.
Right, and it's not just your abdominal work that's happening. It's all of your pectoral muscles, your shoulders, your rear delts, everything.
You're working all of those muscles in.
Yes, right, and keeping yourself from falling one way or the other makes it much, much harder.
Right, of course. Okay, what do we do with the pound and ground again?
Ground and pound. This is called the Mound Position. We're getting on the mount here, and we control one of his legs here, or wrap it. Okay, if I can get it here. Keep him from punching me here. Control this From here. Okay. Now, if I can control him this way and ground and pound, it usually doesn't last very long. You stop the fight very quickly.
I couldn't imagine it would last very long, being on
too
top
long.
of someone and
Right.
pounding them in. But I guess when we're looking at that process of what mixed martial arts is all about, is ultimately you want to render your opponent kind of useless from carrying on. You want to take them down, knock them out, or just stop them from hurting you.
Well, you can also win on points.
Providing you can't
Yeah.
knock them out, or they're
Right.
too big and strong, or they just won't go down.
I know that in MMA you have much smaller gloves than you do in boxing or Muay Thai kickboxing. And because of that, they hit harder. And knockouts are far more prevalent in MMA than they are in, or at least TKOs, than they are in boxing and Muay Thai.
Because you can get more of that power and
Yeah.
contact through.
You've got a tiny little rock hitting him in the face, exactly. With all the power that you can generate with punching, in that respect, it's far more devastating. Now, for this one, we're going to step up on top of the box, your entire foot on the box here, and as I step, okay, I step and then I'm going to simulate knee somebody in the body, step back down, and then lunge back.
We did a lot of that last time
Yeah.
on the mats. Yeah, I remember that.
So that's where you develop power on the knee and follow through on the knee. It's really important to learn to follow through on your strike and not to your target. Okay? This will help you by the fact that you're here. There's nothing in the way. There's nothing obstructing your way. That teaches you to follow through on your strike. Thrust your hips forward this way. Okay?
Sounds like that Bruce Lee mentality of punch through to the back of the head.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. You want to envision your knee striking them in the solar plexus and going all the way through their spine. That's the concept.
Great. Okay, so anything we really need to know about doing this? I mean, this is something that we can just incorporate into perhaps a leg workout if we're in the gym.
That would be a part of a great leg workout. And
This is
it
something like
forces you to stabilize because you are on one foot and then you're striking with the other foot. If you don't have good stability here, then you're not going to have a good knee strike.
A heavy squat combined with some
Yes.
kind of knee jerks on this.
There you go.
Okay.
Now, this fun little ball is what we call a slam ball. It looks a lot like a medicine ball,
Right, yeah,
but
that's
it's a
what I'm
slam
thinking.
ball.
20
Okay.
pounds?
20 pounds.
Okay.
Not too big, not too heavy. However, the key with this slam ball is to slam it down on the ground and try to catch it as it bounces up and then come back up and do it again. So you squat down with the slam
Okay.
so that you can catch it. It's not that easy. Okay?
Nothing ever is with you,
No,
Kathy.
because these balls don't bounce. They just don't.
So what is the purpose of this thing?
The purpose is to teach you to, as you're coming down, slamming down as hard as you can, it uses pretty much all of your body.
And the medicine ball or the slam ball is basically meant to be that person's head, their body.
Not necessarily, but that motion of coming down is
okay.
there. That motion is always there. And anytime, if you have to lift up or coming down, it's the same.
So we're again replicating that movement that
Yes.
we would be using in the ring against our opponent, and we're using this as a tool to help.
There's no doubt that if I'm here, let's say I knock the person down, and I want to come in and throw some punches at him, and I have to be up high because I put my hip forward so that I don't get kicked in the face.
Okay.
But as soon as that happens, if I can clear one leg, I'm going to come down and hit.
And replicate that same movement.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see it in action then.
Okay. I'm going to try to catch it as it bounces up. It won't bounce, but I'm going to try to catch it. Okay.
And that's the goal, okay.
That's the goal. Yes. Okay.
I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yes.
Hold it.
Of course.
It's dense, it's got a lot of mass. See how it goes with the jeans. I've got to give this a try.
I'm going to squat down with it.
You're expecting it to bounce, but yeah, that's a completely different area that mentally I'm expecting it to bounce back up and to keep going up and down. Let's talk about that too, the mental aspect of fighting and conditioning and preparation. So I guess preparation is a much, much bigger portion of that training than simply just getting in a ring and going toe-to-toe with someone.
It really is.
What is, tell me more about that mental aspect, the focus, what drives you when you're getting, not the dummy, you're getting pounded and grounded, opponents on top of you,
Right.
they're going for the face, they're getting the kicks in the knees to the head, you know, to paint a picture like that.
True.
But then when something switches, that beast mode, I guess, comes through, what's that like?
The beast mode, as you described in squatting an excess amount of pounds and being mentally prepared for that and going into, okay, it's the same concept as if you're a little boy and you're in school and somebody pushes you down from behind and they're standing over you laughing at you. It's that same concept. You get so angry that you just want to tear their face off. Now, some people fight really well when they're angry. Some people use that anger to fuel them. Some people, when that animal wakes up in them, you know, it's a force of nature that you simply, it's like a crashing tidal wave that destroys everything in its path.
Like that.
Seriously.
And it seems like we all have it inside us because you see these stories in the news, as sad as they are, like a mother and her child and the car kind of swerves off the road. But then this mother has this phenomenal strength that she'll literally physically move that car
It's called
away.
self-preservation, my friend.
Okay.
And when that kicks in, that's when your animal instincts are really alive and well.
Is there a way to train for that? I mean, can we improve that to make it kind of more on tap?
If there was something that we could all tap into, there'd be more fighters.
Maybe not a good thing, I don't know, especially...
It's hard to say, because for me, it's never about hurting somebody when I'm in the competition with them. I just want to prove that I'm better that day.
Okay, I like that.
That's all I want to do.
Because back there, I was getting the impression that you were this angry, hurtful...
And that's a misconception with MMA fighters. A lot of people,
Really?
because they see them riddled with tattoos,
Right.
and they have this persona about them and this look, and you see when they win that fight and he TKOs the guy, and he goes, ah! And he's yelling like that, right?
And that's the image that we typically have of
Right.
fighters,
And that is the image we all perceive as, okay, this guy's super angry and he hates the world and he hates this guy and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, but it's not that at all. In fact, what it is all the hard work and the training and the pounding and the getting beat up in sparring is just an outlet. You know, it's finally, it's like, I did it. I can't believe I did it. Because it was much harder training in MMA than it is in Muay Thai or boxing. Sorry, boxers, but it's true.
Well, you've got to be sufficient in order then.
Yes.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because when I've done the competitions, and for anyone watching who has done similar competitions for we're talking about like stepping on stage and just standing there, which is nothing in comparison. But what I'm getting at is for that person to win a show and to be better than all the other competitors,
Yes.
regardless of what particular sport it might be, but when they put their hands up and they let raw, that image isn't quite as menacing as, you know, a 200-pound tattoo-covered, tooth pulled out, bloodied fighter, you know, with. But it's the same thing. It's just the actual sport is different from what we're doing, but that mentality, that fighting mentality,
Yep.
is kind of within us all.
It is within us all, as you can tell. But as you've described yourself, a mother who's trying to protect her child or trying to lift up a car to save her child's life, it's the same thing.
Okay, well, to finish off, I know that we had a lot of people watch our last video. Regardless of a person's age, their gender, the length of time they've been training, what are some of your best tips for, let's say someone like myself, has a background in fitness, can lift weights, can run, but you know, maybe the other aspects aren't too good. Where would you sort of start me off, and for anyone looking to do the same thing, what is the best advice for them?
I think what I would do is, if somebody came in, regardless of their physical capabilities, I would have them start at the very beginning and work their way up slowly. Because anytime you're learning something new, you want to do it slowly and correctly for as long as you can. and then eventually and gradually you get a little faster and a little harder. You know, just like you would eventually lift heavier and heavier weights if you choose to become a powerlifter or get into a competition.
Repetition,
right?
repetition, repetition.
It truly is, and it's honestly like any other sport you can imagine. If you're getting into it, start slowly. Learn the fundamentals, get a strong foundation, and then from there you can branch out and do whatever you want.
Get a good coach. Get a good coach. Awesome. Well, guys, make sure you stay tuned for my next 3-part series when I'll be kind of expanding more on what Kathy and I have spoken about, having a look at really those 3 areas of, I guess, speed, ballistic power, strength, and also the endurance, and really giving you a few more tips in helping you improve those areas for whichever sport, whether it's MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, or just have a better body. Kathy, thanks so much again.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure it won't be too long before we're back here doing a 3rd installment, in which case I'm sure I'll have my shorts on and my guns out for that one. But guys, stay tuned and make sure you keep watching Muscle and Fitness Nice Body Series. Take care.